Before we get started, we would like to warn you that this episode contains heavy subject matters.
Please watch with caution as the conversation does delve into dark places.
If indeed you've been affected by,
Anything discussed in the podcast.
there are organisations listed below in the description box.
Enjoy the episode.
I'm Learnding.
So, welcome to our Peter and Chris are Learnding recap episode. And today we're recapping on Joseph. How did he pronounce it?
Here.
Who?
I think it's
Hula?
here.
Hootina? Hooter? I don't know. Let's call him Joseph, shall we?
4 weeks since Peter got a name correct.
Yeah. So
I
yeah.
don't think it is.
Okay. And we're recapping on Joseph, the person we had for our main one. That we had just fairly recently. So, Chris, what did you make of our latest guest?
Oh my golly gosh. I mean, I would never complain about my life ever again because Joe has gone through the most horrifying event I could ever imagine. And just scary, I mean, I'm so impressed by how he is so warm, so kind, so loving. You know, when he's gone to this horrendous event, it really made me think about my life and, everything that I'm crying about. And I'm like, well, it could be worse. Could be.
Yeah. It's putting your life into perspective.
Yeah.
And kind of looking at the bigger picture almost.
Yeah.
And there's always somebody worse off than you.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, getting shot, dying, and then brought back to life. I mean, that's a miracle in itself. But what fascinated me that he mentioned a little bit of God in the main episode, and he's a big believer of God and what he could do, or whatever. I'm not that religious, so I don't know much about.
Yeah.
So, and then for him to take that attitude from being angry, being mad that he's paralysed, and turning it into a positive with the merchandise, with doing fitness videos on his YouTube channel, and kind of like showing other paralytic people how they can live after being paralysed. I mean, it's nothing short of an achievement in itself, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he could have took that and felt sorry for himself and felt felt like and just gave up. I feel like he took that on board. Within 3 months, he was trying to. Would you crazy, by the way? 3 months. Like I record and 4 months later, I'm like, I'm dying. So like, for him to get the traumatic thing, and then 3 months later try and grab his life back. it just, Jesus.
It takes a lot of strength just to do that
Yeah,
in
yeah,
itself.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine, what he goes through, you know, there's like you obviously know about your own life and your own experiences, and this is why the podcast I think is needed. Really, it's not just for the audience, but for us as well to be like, some days that are bad, but they could be worse days for other people. It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Absolutely. And if you're having a bad day or whatever, you've got
Yeah,
but I mean, this is the whole point of it. Learning about people
yeah,
and
Learnding
their
everything.
experiences and what they've had to overcome, or because we're not just a disabled podcast, we will
No,
get
no.
to able-bodied people eventually at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't know when, but there
There
you go.
is so many disabled people that don't
Yes. I mean, yeah, like, yeah, banning the drum, shall we say? But yeah, but to hear from a different perspective, it's not like disabled from birth or anything like that.
Yeah,
Compared to the last 3 guests we've had on, yeah, and even though yes, this might be a trigger to some people, but I think it's needed to kind of like hear from a worse perspective,
yeah.
if you like, compared to the sort of like fun, jolly podcast kind of thing. Would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we are deemed as a light-hearted podcast, but every now and then we are gonna delve into quite serious issues, and
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to the first one with Tim,
I mean, yeah, saying,
yeah,
oh, well, my most famous person in my class
yeah,
was like the guy that planned 9/11. Um,
yeah,
so,
like just
okay, brilliant.
you know.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna stray away from the really, really dark stuff, but we are gonna touch on it. We are gonna, you know,
Yeah,
but
we will get back into the sort of like jolly sort of thing for next time. Um,
hopefully, yeah,
well, yeah. Whoever our next guest is,
whoever that is,
whoever that is.
please,
But
please be happy.
but one thing I will take away is the things we take for granted sometimes. Don't take
Yeah,
it for granted.
yeah, definitely.
And what would
And
you take away, Chris, from this?
taking away the fact of well, his advice about being patient for like both the disabled person and the non-disabled person. I know that I struggle with patience because that is who I am. I'm very independent. I'm very like I'm doing it my way for
Yeah,
but yeah, so I need to learn that as well as a 32-year-old, well, 33 when this podcast comes out.
yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
And then when this podcast comes out, I'm gonna ask you, Chris, have you learned patience yet?
No, I know the answer. Yeah,
As I don't know.
I'm not patient.
No,
Yeah.
probably not. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah, was there any other questions you wanted to ask him? Because, we were quite short on time. He froze halfway through. Which obviously won't be shown on the edit, but
I mean, if people are sat there going, why don't you not ask this? Why don't you not ask that? Blah, like, it's a very intense situation where, like, you don't want to get it wrong for the guests. So you're just kind of like going, oh my God, like, this, I know we spoke like off camera, just me and you about the medical bills, which is such like a personal thing that like you don't if it didn't read that in the podcast, we're not gonna touch it. We're not gonna. I know it's different that like somebody like Karen comes on, who I've known very well. I could probably ask him them questions, but if I don't know them personally, I'm not gonna touch them. You know Joe a little bit better, but even then you don't put the fork in the fire, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I've known
yeah,
him for a while, and when it's sort of his time zone, my time zone, we then talk.
yeah,
It's hard to find the time, isn't it? Because I'm like, what time is it over there? What time is it?
yeah,
And then, yeah.
yeah, I would do.
But yeah, so yeah, but I'm pretty well. I shouldn't say pleased, but pleased we like delved into this kind of topic.
Yeah,
Because there are gunshot victims or survivors, and their story is a story to tell.
yeah,
And hopefully, this is one that probably will be listened to probably the most within the community.
definitely, yeah.
I guess that's it then.
I think that's it. Wrap up, go home.
Let's wrap up and go to bed. No.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, thank you for listening to this recap. We'll be back again. Our next
will.
one will be a main episode again with a guest who is, well, we don't know who it is. So let's leave you guessing, shall we?
I wonder. They go. They know exactly who it is, and we're like, no, we actually don't. We actually don't know who it is.
I mean, it's like when we first did it with Tim. We didn't know who the next one was, but
No.
yeah. But yeah, it's nice to take away some things that you might have learnt and kind of implement it, like patience, for example. Yeah. So we'll see you next time.
Boy.
Bye.